All right, Boogie still here. I'm just curious what's behind you because you're in Dubai right now, and let me make sure I get this right. For the World Vape Show. What the hell is a World Vape? What's happening? What are you doing, Boogie?
I'm into it.
Hey, man, booked up.
Man,
That's what he's
business
doing.
is business, man. Business is business.
Booked up.
What do you do at the Vape Show? This is awesome.
I'm here to promote. I'm here to push a brand. You know, a new business partner of mine. So, like I said, business is business. So.
Well, and what happens at the Ray's Boo Boo room? I've been wondering the whole
Boogie,
first segment.
tell him more about old Ray's Boom Boom
Ray's
room.
Boom Boom room. You just out the loop, man.
Yeah, you don't know about Ray's Boom Boom room.
Boogie came
You
in
know
with...
what goes on at Ray's Boo Boo room?
Satchmo was in there last
I
night.
have a guess. But
I know what
I've
goes
never-
on in the Boo
Can't
Boo
say I've
room.
ever
Yeah.
been.
I know Lou know about Ray's Boom Boom.
Hey, Satchmo blew the place down last night, Boogie.
Wow, we gotta step our game up.
Speaking of, by the way, I don't want to hijack this thing, but Magic City's getting a reality show? Yes, it's like a documentary, like, yeah. Anyway, that's at the end of the show. We'll get to that. Okay, let's talk Kevin Durant.
the last day of school.
I just thought of it. I just thought of it just now because I saw it yesterday.
We're going rogue today.
Talk to me, Boogie, about Kevin Durant. It's been reported, and I still don't understand the logic in negotiations of saying these things out loud, but here we are. Doesn't want to go to Minnesota, although it seems like Minnesota would like him to go there. But we would love to see a KD Ant situation. So talk to me about why you wouldn't want to go play with Anthony Edwards if you're KD.
Well, honestly, I don't know why he wouldn't want to play with a guy like Anthony Edwards. And for me, I don't think it's a scenario where he's looking at Anthony Edwards as someone that he's viewing as a negative. I think it's more so maybe a city type situation. You coming from a place like Phoenix where it's warm all year. Maybe it's a situation where he doesn't want to be in the cold. I'm not really sure, but you know, I think Kevin Durant is at a place in his career where he deserves to go wherever he wants to go. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is a guy that's set a standard in his league. He's created, you know, player after player. When young guys come up, you know, they model their games after Kevin Durant. So all of those things being said, Kevin Durant deserves to go wherever Kevin Durant wants to go. He's earned that right. And I think Kevin Durant is at a place where he doesn't really give a damn what anybody has to say or how they feel about it, and deservedly so. So I think he's going to try to make the best decision for him. He hasn't necessarily found the correct spot in his last 2 spots or since he's left Golden State. So I think this is a really, really important decision for him, especially with him, you know, he's about to turn 37. Obviously, he's in the later years of his career. He's closer to retirement than being in his prime. So this is a very important decision for him, and I think that's his approach as far as where his next destination will be.
Yeah, I don't think this has anything to do with Anthony Edwards or anything of that nature. When you get to the end of your career, you want to be comfortable and you want to be somewhere that you want to be.
Like live.
You know, like I'm no Kevin Durant, but at the end of my career, I told the Clippers, if you trade me, I'm going to retire. And they just outsmarted me and traded me to my hometown. They said, well,
nice.
are you still going to retire? So it just comes down to when you're in the league for such a long time, you want to be somewhere that you want to be comfortable, that you want to spend your last few years in the league, and you want to do that comfortably. So I think that's where Kevin Durant is. I don't think this has much to do with basketball. Anywhere that he goes, he's going to be impactful. And obviously him linking up with somebody that's considered him an idol, I'm sure that would be
awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have been something that he would have considered, but if the circumstances were different. But it ain't all said and done. I'm sure they'll be on his list as well. But when you get to this point, you want to just play somewhere that you want to be. That's all.
It's interesting to me, too, because people get mad at Kevin Durant when he went to the Warriors. I am not one of them, by the way. But if he were to go to Minnesota, that's obviously they just were in the Western Conference Finals. That feels more chasing versus the 3 teams that he has said, like, I'd be cool with Houston, San Antonio, or Miami. If he goes to any one of those, I don't know if you have a preference that you would love to see KD in. Does that team automatically become a contender? Like, what does it do to any one of these 3 teams if they have KD?
This is Kevin Durant. Like, let's not sit here and act like it isn't. I mean, Phoenix was a bad situation from jump. They put a team together based off names. It was never a complete, you know, team. It was never a team that made sense. You just put a bunch of scores together and then threw some other names on it and said, go win a championship. That's not how the game of basketball works. And I hate that, you know, this great player has received the type of, you know, negativity around his name when it comes to this Phoenix situation. Like I said, it was never meant for success. So even through all the chaos that happened in Phoenix, and it was a lot of things that happened. It was a lot of things that haven't been reported. I don't want to be the guy to report it, but I've definitely heard of some of the, negative things in the locker room. It was a couple of fist fights. There was a lot going on that obviously carries over into the court. So, for him to be the so-called blame of the negative seasons they've had, I think it's completely unfair.
Hold on. Boogie, are you saying there were fist fights in the Suns locker room amongst the Suns?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So with that being said,
that's normal though.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
boys
normal.
Are so
I mean, it gets magnified when you lose.
Is it normal? Is it normal in today's game, or is it normal in our era?
Good follow-up. Good follow-up.
In today's game,
Boogie,
you have to be super friendly.
I'm trying to help you, Boogie. I'm trying to help you, Boogie.
Why is that?
You said you didn't want to be the person to break the news, so I was trying to take the cut.
I mean, I'm not going to go into the details of who was fighting. I'm not going to go into the details.
Can I guess, and will you give me a nod? If I start guessing, okay.
This is more so about Kevin Durant still being an extremely impactful player.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy that was extremely efficient. He averaged around 27, 28 points a game. Like, this is Kevin Durant. So anywhere he goes, he's going to improve a team. So my thing is, I don't want this narrative of him being at fault of the lack of success in Phoenix. I just think it's completely unfair. So I think anywhere he goes moving forward, it will be an improvement on the team. Obviously, it's going to matter with the pieces they put around it, because wherever he goes, they're going to have to give a huge haul back. So you're going to have to fill in those pieces around him. You're going to have to make it, and it's going to have to be complementary pieces, not just names. Like, we have to get away with that. And the reason I say that is because the two teams are in the finals. It's not about names. It's about team. It's about camaraderie. It's about enjoying playing with the guys next to you. That's where the league is now. That's how you find success in this league in this current stage. So I think that's what's important. And, like I said, wherever he goes, he will change that team for the better.
Look, I want to get your reaction on a trade that happened earlier with Desmond BANE to Orlando. 4 first-round picks, Cole Anthony, KCP. First of all, is he worth that? Is he a perfect fit? Is that a lot for a guy like Desmond BANE? Like, what do you think this makes the Orlando Magic better and a contender next year? What are your thoughts on this trade?
Well, obviously, I think Desmond BANE is a very good player. I actually like the move that the Magic did. I think it's a perfect fit for the team. But when you go and ask that question, is he worth it? Let's put names on paper. You look at a guy like Desmond BANE, and then you look at a guy like Luka Doncic. That answers your question right there. Hell no, he's not worth it. If Luka's only worth one first round,
I didn't know where you were going. I was trying to say.
I know. I was like, hold up. That was a hot take.
Like, it's just, we're talking about an all-NBA, multi all-star type player compared to a guy, that's just a really, really good player. So obviously the picks don't add up when you look at it in that way. But like I said earlier, we're at this stage in the league of where teams matter, camaraderie matters, chemistry matters. I think he's the perfect fit moving forward with this Magic team. I do still think they need a really good point guard. I do like Suggs, but I still think they need like an elite point guard. But I absolutely love what the Magic did with this. I think they improved as a team. I think they improved with a need for that team, and I think BANE was the perfect fit for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think he gives them shooting, he gives them defense, toughness, all that. Wagner and Paolo Banchero, who you are on record, you love his game. Where does this put them in the East, though? Cleveland's going to be back. Tatum's out for Boston. Indy's not going anywhere. Philly has a chance to be better. Like, where do you stack Orlando now against the best teams in the Eastern Conference?
I think they moved into the top 4, top 5 in the East. I think they were a good team last year, but like I said, they had some needs that they needed to fill, and I think BANE was the perfect fit for that. So I think they're a very dangerous team in the East now, and I think they can challenge some teams. I think they make a big move, a big splash next season, and maybe a second-round type team or further. So
like that.
And they got a hell of a coach.
Yeah,
Like that.
I don't blame you for that, Boogie. Hey, we got the draft coming up this week, and I know last time we spoke, man, you said you believe Ace Bailey should be the number 1 pick. Since then, he's canceled all his workouts. He's yet to meet with a team. Listen, my opinion is he got a backdoor situation with somebody he's trying to slide to. You know, he wants to play right away, and you look at the top 4 teams, they pretty much got their guys. It's going to be a work in progress for him to get big minutes. From that point on, there's going to be some scenarios where he may be able to get on the floor immediately and play 25 to 30 minutes with some of those teams on the back end of these lottery picks. What's your opinion on that? Do you feel like he has a handshake deal with a team that he's trying to slide to, or are they completely botching this thing?
Look, Lou, I absolutely hope this kid is getting the right advice. I hope it is a strategic move on his team's part. It's a lot of talent in this draft. I mean, you could say it's a clear-cut #1 or a favorite to be #1 with Cooper Flag. But like I said, I do think this kid's talent is through the roof. I think, you know, long term, he could become a generational type player in the right system with the right guidance. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a fan of this move. Not at this point. I still do think it's some things he has to prove as far as who he is as a player and the things he has to improve on. But you know, I just hope this is a strategic move from his team's part. And there is, you know, a backdoor type of, you know, handshake agreement. But on the outside looking in, I'm not a fan of the move.
No, because sorry, I was looking at my notes right here. But Boogie, let me ask you this: what was your draft process like? Were there any teams that you didn't want to work out for? You know, I know that. Did you work out for the Kings?
I did work out for the Kings. I worked out for the Nets. Well, in my draft, obviously, John Wall was the #1 pick that year. He was the clear-cut #1. But, you know, kind of after that, it was kind of wide open.
Yeah.
So, for me, I just wanted to go be the best version of myself in front of whatever team, you know, asked me to come in. And I wasn't necessarily in the position to, you know, say where I want to go or who I want to play for. You know, my approach was I just want to get in. And after that, you know, work my way and earn my way in this league. I did have a workout with a team that was kind of out of my draft range, and it was a team that I would have liked to go into just for long-term success. I thought it fit who I was as a person. I thought, you know, I could fit that culture, and it was the Detroit Pistons. I went #5. The Pistons had the #7 pick that year. So I thought, you know, as far as, you know, match and personality-wise and culture-wise, I thought Detroit would have been more so a fit for me, but
you know, I kind of agree with you,
I like
Boogie.
that. I think that would work out.
I kind of agree. Now that it's all said and done, I kind of agree with you.
Now that we know what we know, Boogie.
But I wasn't in a position to try to sabotage, you know, my draft stock or try to, you know, force my hand and go somewhere that I thought was right. You know, I was just happy to be in that place and happy to have an opportunity, you know, to join the organization.
There are some reports out there. There's a draft prospect that passed on a workout with the Hornets because they don't want to play with LaMelo Ball, which I find interesting because that's a very specific reason to not work out with a team.
Who is it, though?
I mean, it's a kid. I'm probably not going to tell us.
Well, why are we talking about him then?
Because, I mean, the fact that there are people out there that are saying, I don't want to play with LaMelo Ball, I find that very interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
Hasn't even gotten to the league yet.
Like, who has the let me find my word here while we on
that
TV.
Should also not
but who has the gall to be in college and say, I don't want to play with this guy? You got to worry about your future.
Right.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's start there.
You got to worry about yours.
Do you have an issue?
You can even play.
Right.
You got to prove yourself.
You most likely won't play early anyway, so you're not going to play with LaMelo Ball anyway. So it's like, why are you worried about someone else? And I get like fit in situations.
But is it not fair to...
Unless it's Ace Bailey, put an address on it.
That would be amazing if it was Ace Bailey.
Put an address on it.
It's just crazy. I would go work out for a team when we were coming out just to get the NBA socks and the shorts. Now these dudes are ducking workouts over like fit and stuff. I just wanted the gear, but
I wouldn't turn down a workout for
no
nothing.
chance.
It's part of the experience. You work your whole life to go through this process, this experience. Trust me.
But what if you really look? It's first of all, let's look at it through the eyes. It's their first job.
I think I had 25 workouts though, and I loved it. I loved the whole process of it.
I had 9, and 2 of them were with the same.
So we're mad at the kid for not wanting the. We're not mad that LaMelo Ball's proven to be somebody that people want to play with.
Beadle, it's like you coming out of school and saying, I'm not interviewing for CBS because I don't like their daytime. You're going to interview for everybody.
If I was coming out of school looking for my first job, and let's just pick, like if Rush Limbaugh was hosting a show and they were like, go try out with Rush Limbaugh, I'd be like, let's not waste our time. I'm not going to work with Rush Limbaugh. Like, I do see there being some validity to that. No, I wouldn't.
Would you interview for the network?
But this is specific to the team.
Would you interview for the network? So
the network's different.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying.
What's he going to be, the ball boy for the Hornets?
No, but that's what I'm saying. For the team, I get what you're saying. But with these type of things,
I don't know.
Has Rush Limbaugh ever been fired? Yes. Like, so things change, and people come in and they change things. So if anything,
I kind of like it.
I
think it's a set of testicles on a kid that we haven't even seen yet.
Until you slide to the second round and you're fighting for your career because you worried about
it. It goes quick too. There's only 30 teams. You're eliminating one of those teams.
Just
LaMelo
one.
Ball,
There's
and then what if he's on a
ones.
different team in free agency 4 years later? Like,
well, that's why his name's not on this.
It's just a weird beginning to your career to have these demands before you're drafted.
So I really saw this question going a different way. I'm very.
Let's move. If we don't have a name, let's move on.
Okay, fine. Go on, Chandler.
Okay, let's talk about what LeBron said recently. He said that ring culture.
Of course, we got to get to LeBron.
In the NBA is a problem, Boog, and that basically we devalue players who haven't won championships, like the James Hardens of the world.
Talk about gall.
Yeah, like, do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? I agree. I agree. A championship helps you get like in the Hall of Fame and some accolades.
Have we lost our damn minds?
Like if Blake Griffin had a championship, he's a no-doubter.
I'm talking about the messenger. I'm not talking about the message. The messenger is delicious on this one. Are we kidding ourselves?
Delicious.
Do you agree with that, though? Do you think it's a problem? Do you think we devalue these stars that never won a chip?
I think ring culture is very, very toxic. I think the message is overlooked because of who the messenger is. Obviously, he's the guy that's heavily criticized for anything that he says, good or bad. Usually when he does say things, people will find the negative in it, and that kind of piggybacks off what he's saying. But I do hate where, ring culture is. You're basically considered a bust. You're considered a failure if you don't, win a ring, and that's just completely unfair to the game of basketball. It's completely unfair to the athletes. Obviously, we use these things to, compare and rank who is better than who. But at the end of the day, it's all about perspective. It's all about, what you value in the game of basketball, how you view the game of basketball. Some people view the game of basketball as you got to be the best scorer in the world, and you look at a guy like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Then you look at a guy like LeBron, and he's valued because he's one of the best all-around players to ever touch the court. Magic Johnson, he's one of the greatest leaders to ever touch the floor. Isaiah, when it comes to Isaiah Thomas, he's the scrappy leader that can, overcome the juggernauts in the league. So it's so many different things of, what people value when it comes to the game. But it still falls back on perspective. But I do think ring culture is very toxic. We do overlook, greats like Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, James Harden. The list goes on. Just because you don't have a ring, it doesn't take away from your greatness.
I actually agree with the sentiment.
I think this has this is my personal opinion. I think this has everything to do with Stephen A's take on Giannis, saying that if Giannis doesn't get another ring, he will be he wouldn't have did enough.
Well, how about we stop listening to certain people?
I think that's what this whole thing has to do. That's my personal opinion.
I think it goes deeper than that. I think it also falls. It goes to the fact that who we're allowing to say who's great and who's not. Like, it's guys that have never played this game, even at a mediocre level, that have an opinion on what's great. It literally makes no sense. We got this social media world. Everybody has a platform. Everybody has an opinion. And it's guys that won't even get picked up in a street ball basketball game that can sit here and say what's great and what's not.
Yeah.
And that's the real problem when it comes to ring culture.
So now we could do an hour on that. Zero athleticism. Boogie, have fun in Dubai.
Thank you, Boog.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk next season, perhaps. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
Run it back, run it over, run it back, yeah.